you know, typical Wyoming team, I mean, they play really, really hard. We played against them before, and those guys play with a lot of heart, a lot of guts, a lot of passion, and they play football the way it's supposed to be played. And, you know, I think they're evolving as they come into their new era right here. But they did a nice job. They got after Texas. They did.
Dan, most of the kids that you recruited to Division I programs come from winning programs and experienced a lot of success in their life in their past in their high school. How do you talk to them, especially young kids that are going through this stretch right here? How do you, what do you say to them when this might be the first time they've experienced something like this, especially this early?
Well, you know me, Neil. I mean, we're always kind of putting life in perspective in a lot of ways. So I don't think it's an unusual. You know, we did the same things when we beat Oklahoma, we beat West Virginia. We didn't. You know, you have to be able to get them to balance things out and understand how to keep their feet on the ground and make sense of the world no matter what's going on. And I think that's probably understated in every football coach's life, and how much they actually do that. So I don't think it's that much out of the norm to address those things from a life perspective.
Where do you go to get the consistency in the offense?
I think we're getting close. I thought we made huge strides last week. I did. And, you know, I think we responded. I thought we were doing a nice job early in the game, and then as the score got away, then we had to kind of change. And I thought our guys adapted and did that, and we got back in it, and we got within a couple of scores. And, you know, if we were able to break serve, then, you know, we could have been able to do that. But I think we're getting really close to that. We are.
How well do you know Coach Christensen?
Just from his days at Missouri, but I mean, I don't know him personally.
Do you know him? I mean, the history that he's had against you, as they had us when he was the offensive coordinator against you guys. How does that affect how you prepare for this game?
Well, you're obviously looking at that because it's the same system, basically. Now, that doesn't mean they're always going to run the exact same plays, but it is the same system, the same style, and, you know, you certainly have to, you know, they've gotten after us. We actually did probably better our first year here in '06, but they've gotten after us the last couple of years, and certainly we have to make some adjustments according to that as well.
Are there a wide variety of issues you're dealing with on defense, or are there just a couple of things you're trying to clean up?
You know what I think the biggest thing is, Kyle? I just think we have a really good defensive staff, and I think it's interesting. I think what we're trying to do to some degree is make it so doggone perfect and so doggone exact that sometimes you overdo it just a hair. And rather than saying, okay, let's not get everybody within an eyelash of what it's supposed to be. And I think that happens. You can do that on offense, and you run into situations where, you know, you're trying to make sure you've got the right amount of numbers, and if they've got 8 in the box, don't run it, and if they've got 7, run it. And sometimes you just need to say, hey, let's just line up and run it and beat the guy. So I think that's a lot of it, and we just need to be able to kind of not worry about every single exact nuance, but maybe the simplicity allows for the complexity. And I think that's it, because I think you get tied into knots a little bit of trying to do too much or thinking a little bit. And so part of that's from an experience nature, particularly as it pertains to those kids up front. And then part of it is, like I said, is just trying to be such a great coach that you want to put them in exactly the right spot, exactly their, you know, place every single time, and just saying, okay, we're going to play this coverage, and you got to adjust to that deal. I think that's a lot of it.
How's Cody feeling?
He's good, yeah.
Is there a way to, during the season, improve tackling?
You know what I really find? We always work on tackling. We'll tackle tomorrow. I think your better teams tackle well, your more aggressive teams tackle well, your more confident teams tackle well. I think it's interesting. One year when I was at Boise, Dick Tomey was doing TV at that time, and he came in and he said, Dan, I've been around football a long time, and I've never seen a team tackle like your team. What do you do in tackling? And I go, nada. And we didn't. Never worked on tackling. We didn't. But as you start playing hard and you play confident and you get some of that, then you get more guys the ball, and it becomes, you know, you learn your angles, and there's more than just one guy at the point of attack and all that. I mean, I think that's a lot of it.
Are guys thinking too much out there?
That's a lot of it. Like I said, I think it's just a question of trying to put too much in, and you're trying to do such a great job of getting a guy in the exact right spot based on formation, down and distance, field position, that maybe you overdo it a little bit, and it becomes paralysis by analysis to some degree. And instead of kind of saying, all right, well, we're close to that, and we have to adapt to that, we have to adjust to that. I think that's a little bit of it. I really do. And then the other thing you get into too, you guys know this, you have to fight that urge, because what happens is it becomes cyclical. It's like the more you press, the more you press. The more you relax, the more you relax. It's that old psychology thing. I think you have to find that balance in there. And so things don't go well and you press, and it makes it go worse, and you press and it makes it go even worse, and you got to be able to battle that a little bit.